How was lunch? Yeah, that was good. All right, we're still looking a little empty here. Let's see, Deepak, where'd you go? Are you in here yet? Where are my friends? Thank you, thank you. I will need this clicker. So, cool, we'll get started. Who here is on Facebook? Raise your hand. Almost everyone, right? And LinkedIn. Okay, cool. Why are you on Facebook? Why are you on LinkedIn? These are questions I want you guys to be thinking about as I teach you how to use tech to network with your top mentor. I want you to think of someone who you look up to, who you want to meet with because you know that they can help you in your career. They can answer the questions that you're asking week and every month. Think of that person. And my goal for you after this presentation is for you to reach out to them, okay? Also, if you have questions for me, my handle is Handskin. Feel free to tweet me any questions. If you'd like to raise your hand during this presentation, please do. I'd love to hear your questions. And let's get started. So, in addition to networking with a mentor, you can also use what I'm going to teach you to network with industry influencers, high net worth customers, and investors for your next big idea. So, why does networking matter? Well, because it's cool, right? Of course. We all love a good handshake, but it's not only cool. There's a lot of other reasons you should be out there networking. How many handshakes did you guys get at lunch, by the way? Who shook hands with one person at lunch? Only one? No, I know there was more handshakes than one. Who shook hands with two people at lunch? Met a couple people? Excellent, good. So, a couple reasons that you should be networking in your industry is it gives you energy, it's going to inspire your employees, and it gives you credibility. When you network with leaders in your industry, it gives you credibility when people see you and see your network, right? Everyone looks at the CEO of the big company and says, oh, that person knows the board members, the investors, they know the other CEOs. They're credible. I trust them because of their personal network. So that's one reason networking is important. Also, expertise. We talked about this a moment ago. When you don't have the expertise and you're asking those questions each week, I wonder how this different CFO deals with this task. Knowing the right mentor can help you find how they're doing it and their expertise. So, in addition to how they're doing things, you also want to learn how you're doing things. And once you meet a mentor and get them vested in your success, they can help you personally answer, what will you focus on? What are the specific action steps you're going to take next week to deal with the problems that you can't solve right now? So enough with that. We understand that networking is important. A little bit about myself. As you know, I'm a world record holder for the world's longest handshake. No one in here, or allegedly around the world, has shaken hands with one other person longer than me. So we'll come back to that in a moment. Second, my company is also called Handshaking. We believe in helping our clients shake hands with people in person in their local city. I'm in town from America. I got my master's in business from University of Denver in Colorado. And as you can probably guess, I'm obsessed with networking and how personal branding plays into that. So here's some proof of some of the people I've met back home. The top left is billionaire John Paul DeJoria. He is the founder of Patron Tequila. Who here has had tequila recently? Everyone's like, I'm not going to admit that. Let's see, a couple others. You can see former Vice President of the U.S., Dick Cheney. Down at the bottom right, there's Palmer Luckey, who's actually a 22-year-old billionaire. He made the Oculus Rift, the virtual reality headset. That guy has a great story. And you bet a lot of people want to meet him. And a lot of the time, he's too busy for them. So what I'm going to teach you is how you can pop out from the crowd and get these types of meetings. And I'll start with a personal story on when I really realized the power of technology when it comes to your personal network. First, I didn't understand that why did billionaire entrepreneur Jeff Hoffman meet with me? And for those of you who don't know who Jeff Hoffman is, he's a U.S. entrepreneur and founder of Priceline.com. I did not know anyone who knew Jeff. I sent Jeff a cold message on LinkedIn saying, hey, I like what you're doing. Can I interview you about your success? Will you meet with me? Now, I did not think that Jeff was going to meet with me, but he did, and I couldn't figure out why. Why did this billionaire meet with me, a low-life entrepreneur? This was years ago, before I had a company that was doing any sales. It was before I had met other people like Jeff Hoffman. I couldn't figure out why he said, yes, Matt, I'm not busy, I'll meet with you. So after we met, I asked Jeff, why did a cold LinkedIn message get me this meeting with a billionaire entrepreneur like you? And he said, Matt, you have a strong personal brand. And it all clicked. He said, Matt, I saw your LinkedIn profile and your recent blog posts, and they're about the same things that I'm interested in. Technology, software as a service, venture capital. We had a lot in common. And he saw that I was not afraid to talk about that publicly. And that's where personal branding comes into play. So that was my story on how when I realized that technology and your online personal brand is very important to your in-person network and who you meet and who you hang out with on a weekly basis. And what it all came down to was having a personal brand online allowed me to ask someone to interview them about their success instead of just ask them for a coffee meeting. How many people here get asked to coffee? Each week. How many people here say, hey, they hear from someone and this person asks you, hey, can I meet with you and pick your brain, ask you some questions? I imagine a lot of us get contacted for coffee. Maybe too much. Maybe you're too busy to meet with that person for them to just ask you questions, and maybe nothing comes of it. But if someone approaches you and says, can I interview you over coffee and ask you how you did this in your career, when you use the word interview someone, it implies that what you are going to ask that person about is information that you're going to share with everyone you know. And that totally changes the introduction. Because if I come up to you and I ask you, hey, can we just have a conversation over coffee? And can I learn more about your career? Cool. Maybe you'll be with me, maybe you'll not, you won't. But if I ask, can I interview you about your success and how you got to where you are in your career? Then of course, you're going to say yes 9 times out of 10. Where with coffee, it's going to be closer to 1 out of 10 times. And of course, this matters who you're reaching out to, right? Some people are very busy and much harder to meet with, and others more available. If I were to make a recommendation to each of you, I would recommend you have a mentor who is about 1 year ahead of you on where you're at with your career, and that mentor can help you on the questions you're asking today. You know, our company just started using this software. How do I use the software? And then you should also have the mentor that's about 10 years ahead of you. And they might not understand the struggles you're going through today, but they're going to help you navigate the politics, the hard questions, and the relationships that are required for you to reach extreme success in your career. Is this making sense? Are you guys getting what I'm putting down? It's all about relationships, you guys. Who here has had a relationship that helped them take the next big step in their career? I'm guessing most of you who got a big raise, a big promotion. There is a personal relationship somewhere that played into that somehow. And what I'm telling you is you should think about this stuff proactively. So, the number one recommendation I have for you is to launch a personal website. And don't worry, if this is too much for you, what I'll get to next will also tell you an easier way to do it than a personal website. But what I would recommend for you is you have your space online. It doesn't have to be fancy. Here's a home page with my picture. Here's an out page with my interests and my hobbies and my professional career. And most importantly, here's a blog page. This is where I interview industry experts. Look at the people I've met. Look at the people that I'm going to interview next. If you could show that off to your next employer, to your board of directors, to your next investor, or of course to your next mentor, that is going to increase your credibility and show that you're very serious about your industry and people are going to trust you. So to dig a little deeper into the benefits of a personal website, it's a great long-term strategy, right? How many people here have worked at their current job for 1 year or longer? Can I see a raise of hands? Most people work for their job a year or longer. How about 5 years or longer? Right? These are questions that you need to ask. You know, back home in the US, we tend to skip jobs way too often. So this becomes even more important because you want to build your own brand, not just your brand through your company. And a personal website is something that you will always own for a very low cost, and it stays online. And that's your new resume. It's like LinkedIn, right? The same way that we're all using LinkedIn is the same way a personal website can help you even more. So, and if you're using LinkedIn, you can also do that. To skim through this really quickly, it's a great long-term strategy because you own it. You own your domain name and your website. It gets traffic to your profile, so in addition to the traffic you might get from LinkedIn, other people might start finding you if they're searching for a CFO that's familiar with this software, and you've been interviewing experts about this software. Activity. Remember that handshake? Let's see. I'm going to go back to it. Yeah, that world record. Remember that? We're going to do an activity because maybe you can find something in your career that's going to show your seriousness on how serious you are about your career. If it's information, you can find different stuff. I want to show you guys what I did for just a minute, because I shook hands for 46 hours, and I'm going to have you guys shake hands for 1 minute only, okay? So everyone go ahead and stand up. I know we're full from lunch. Go ahead and stand up from your seats. Okay, good. So we're going to start handshaking for about 1 minute here. And what we're going to do is, for the tables that have an odd number of people, one person is going to be shaking 2 hands, okay? So hold on, so go ahead and join hands with people. So you two right there, if you can start shaking hands to me. Go ahead and grab hands and start shaking. Don't stop until I tell you. Okay, okay, good. Okay. Set the timer for 1 minute. Don't stop shaking hands. You guys are doing great. You guys stop shaking hands over there. Okay, this is good. This is good. You guys are about 30 seconds into a minute of handshake. 20 more seconds. We got 10 more seconds. 10 more seconds. Don't stop. Okay. Okay, you guys can stop shaking hands. How did it feel? Was that a long handshake? Yeah, so imagine doing that for 59 more minutes. And then that makes 1 hour. And that's what I did with one other friend back home. And then we did it another 45 hours after that. That's like 2 nights. And like 3 days. Anyway, that's what I found to kind of further show people that I was serious about my brand, and I'm serious about our clients connecting in person with their prospective customers. So think about what it is that makes your brand fun. Because interviewing guests is going to be great. But be thinking about something else that is really going to have people talking about you. Because every industry expert, people are talking about it. They're known for something. So that's all I've got for you guys. I'll open up the questions if there's any. Otherwise, feel free to shoot me a tweet Find me on LinkedIn. Happy to answer any questions there about a personal brand or your networking goals. And if you wanted those resources, they're also on my website, handshaken.com/resources. And thank you guys very much for your time.